scholars, which are very rich, I think, in different areas, in medicine and in social sciences, as well as also applied sciences. So I just also encourage my sisters, to be very involved in, if I could put it in this sense, in the future, inshallah.
Inshallah,
in Brunei and beyond, of course, in the whole Southeast Asia. And even our sisters in the far East.
Well, if there are not that as many women representatives, paper writers as we had hoped, it was not by choice. It's not due to or by choice.
And I said this. Sorry for it. I said this because, unfortunately, the Western perceptions with the issue of Muslims and women in Muslim societies is very negative. But I think it's our role to utilize these networks to brighten and to correct these cliches and misconceptions and misrepresentations of our Muslim sisters in the Western world and beyond.
Thank you. Certainly, we should bear that in mind. Yes, any other? Yes, Dr. Arsyad Amin.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على محمد رسول الله ثم أما بعد. First and foremost, I thank all the panel for their thought-provoking and very interesting discussions over the last 2 days. I was busy with I didn't have the chance to participate in the discussions. However, I have one single suggestion for the panel. I see this regional convention as a nexus or as a small circle for a major scholarly contribution in the future. I see this panel as the scholars of text and the scholars of context coming together and dealing with very serious issues facing not just Muslims in Southeast Asia, but Muslims all over the world. The idea raised by Prof. Osman Bakar in his inaugural speech regarding having this as a nexus for something bigger is very important. And as another suggestion for forthcoming focus SOASIS seminars, it shouldn't be just seminars, but from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to have bigger understanding and bigger conventions. Maybe I suggest that we might talk about bioethics in our forthcoming conferences or focus SOASIS, or let's say the fiqh of the environment. The idea is by Professor Yusni about tsunami, post-tsunami disasters, fiqh al-azamat. We shouldn't as Muslims react to the incident, but can we as Muslims put our input and be part of the event, gear the events? Thank you very much. It's really thought-provoking and interesting. Jazakumullah khair. As somebody coming from Egypt and sharing focus SOASIS for the first time, this is my first time in Brunei. As somebody coming from Azhar, I find it thought-provoking and interesting. And hopefully, inshallah, things are going in the right direction. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Dr. Amin is a postdoctoral fellow at SOASIS. He is from the Faculty of Islamic Studies at Azhar University, that section at Azhar which teaches Islamic Studies in English and other European languages. He's here with us for a year doing comparative tafsir, studying comparative tafsir on subject of social justice. So we have at the moment we have 3 visiting fellows at SOASIS. Of course, we welcome from our partners, from our friends. SOASIS offers fellowships, postdoctoral fellows, other visiting fellows, offers PhD scholarships. So we invite. At the moment, we have students from Indonesia, from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, and soon we're going to have also from Tonga, Africa, from as well as Togo Republic in Africa. So inshallah we have a good international group here. Okay, any? Yes, please.
Thank you very much. After long years working in southern Thailand as a conflict area, and with the coming of ASEAN communities in 2015, I found that we used to work from within to reach outside world. But after sometimes I realized that I changed my methodology of reaching the world and meeting with friends. I go outside to China. And from China, from Japan and Korea that I'm working with now, we're trying and bringing them come in to teach and bring some other models for the Thais to see how people outside are living peacefully. And then I would like to invite friends here, especially Focus 6 or Focus 7 in the future. Please think about inviting or having friends from East Asia, since Prof. Osman is taking care of East Asian triple IT as well. And Focus, we will talk about Focus, we no choice, we have to include, we are going to attach it to ASEAN. And ASEAN plus 3 means ASEAN plus China, Japan and Korea will be into scene in the future. When I was in China, I'm still living in China, I found that even in Shanghai, International University for Islamic Studies, they have a Journal of Islamic Studies, which is established journals. They're trying to write Islamic Studies issues in Chinese and also in English. And in Korea, in Hankook University, Professor Chang, who is expert on Persian and Islamic Studies, the Journal of Islamic Studies in Hankook University is among the best journals in Indonesia, and even in Japan. So I think if Focus 6 or Focus 7 could be, could invite these kind of scholars just to join us, and we can see that ASEAN plus 3 will come into scene practically. Thank you very much.
Just to react to this, I like what you propose, and I think we have to think about that. Just 2 points that I wanted to make. I completely agree with what you were asking when you were saying we need to think about our sisters, about their contribution. There is one thing that I wouldn't agree is I don't care about what the West is saying. They like it or not. I think as Muslims, now we have to be serious. We have knowledgeable women in our community, and we need to bring them in and to be heard. Not because we want to please the West, but we want to be responsible with our own frame of reference with Islam. I think that this is, we agree on the essential, but I think it's the way we look at things that is important. And now we have to talk to Muslims by saying it's not a Western question. It's a Muslim challenge. It's a Muslim right, and it's a Muslim way of reforming our minds. And this is where I would say our brothers and sisters coming from the East and coming from Southeast Asia, and this could help the Arabs to change. Because I completely agree with what was said about culture. We have to be very critical with our cultures, because sometimes we think what is Islamic in our culture is cultural. It's not Islamic. So we have to change that. And the second thing is, if we can think in our network, sometimes when we meet, to have something which is also maybe organized in the evening or once, something which is for a large public, something that is, look at this panel. It's very interesting for average Muslim, wherever we go, to do something which is, we think together during the day, and we take one evening to do something for a large public. Could be very interesting, because this is where we are taking advantage of the people who are here. Wallahu a'lam. This is a suggestion for the future.
Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? I suppose, oh yes.
Assalamualaikum. It's me again. Alhamdulillah, I would like to say Jazakallah khair to Dr. Osman Bakar to actually organize this thing, and I actually agree with what Dr. Ramadan said, because we need to actually reach the bigger audience, because this is the first time I actually know about SOAS conference, and I thought it was not a public event, so I didn't actually publicize, advertise it to my friends. And when they know that I actually came here, they were like, "You didn't tell me about it." So I think, because I think it's a very good opportunity. Talking about education, That's why we're not exposed to Islamic education. We're not exposed to, this in Brunei. We're exposed to Western, entertainment. So that's why there's no alternative for, Muslims to actually learn about Islam. So I think, that would be great if we have it like, because it's not easy to actually get everyone together, scholars. So I think that's a very good suggestion if we could have that for the next event, and reaching to the bigger audience. Because I know there's a lot of youth would like to know about Islam. Because the only Islamic knowledge I actually learned from is YouTube. I actually saw Dr. Ramadan from YouTube. So that's why I have to be here because it's the only chance that I've get to see him. So I think we're missing this opportunity. So I suggest that it's a very good opportunity, inshallah.
Inshallah, we will. Now that you are in the loop, as they say, you are in the part of our network, inshallah, you come to know more about our programs here. Welcome your participation.
That's great, yeah.
Okay. Yes, but Habib.
Yeah, just to remind us that at the third and the fourth of focus, you mentioned that you foresee the future of focus would be something like AAR.
Yes.
Yeah, American Academy of Religion. Yeah, my sister was invited 2 years ago. And Brother Sukree, during his presentation, mentioned about AMRAN, ASEAN Muslim Research Organization Network, where the chairperson of this organization is Professor Isra. He's also director for Center for Muslim World Policy, our host last 3 days. So why don't we also research oriented in the same time? Because the center also research oriented, because our last conference was funded by Thailand Research Foundation. So I would suggest that in the future we can also evolve or work with the Center for Muslim World Policy. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. In fact, we have been in touch before with them. We are aware of that research network, and certainly in the future we can collaborate with them, inshallah.
Okay, any before?
Because yes, please.
From the periphery,
Central always.
I still would like, personally, I would like to address the present conditions of the Muslim Ummah. The Ummah needing to be strengthened to the maximum. Now the approach, we have to relate this to the contemporary situation. About 180 of the more than 200 countries have become increasingly multicultural, multi-faith. Relate this to our goal of strengthening the Ummah. I'm not so interested with using Islamic revival. I would prefer using a more neutral term. What is important is the content of what we are planning to do. Basically, what I want to see done is to strengthen the Muslim Ummah tremendously. And to do that, the safest approach would be to focus on education. If you focus on education, you address the political dimensions of the contemporary Muslim dilemma. You address the economic, you address the cultural, and that I look at the network to function not just as a network of researchers, but they have to be policy advocates, so that what we take up here and considered to be vital in strengthening the Muslim communities in our respective countries must be implemented as early as possible. So that if we do that, you will be creating a situation where you have the talents of big guns in this Islam strengthening movement. For example, the likes of Brother Dr. Omar, Dr. Tariq, will filter down not only to the region, but even to the Muslim national communities, at the national and at the sub-national levels in our respective communities. So you have the global network, then a network of regional nodal centers, and a network at the national level. Because our dilemma, for example, in the Philippines, you mentioned about the money, the huge money I got. First time in the 51-year history of the Mindanao State University to receive a huge funding support from our government. They gave us 2,078 million additional budget to upgrade, modernize the academic facilities of the Mindanao State University. But imagine a Mindanao State University where Christians have difficulty pursuing education. Do you think the Philippine government would give us that much if they know that we are educating only the Muslims, but not also the Christians in Mindanao? So it just happened that probably the government saw in my leadership a Muslim under whose leadership it's not only the Muslims who are safe, who are beneficiaries, also the Christians and the Lumats would benefit from that leadership. So we have to, starting the time that I started researching on my paper for this, to do it in MSU, for example, Islamic ethics, incorporating it in the educational system of MSU, we have to come up with a multi-level approach. Islamic ethics taught to all students, including Christians. Then Islamic ethics subjects to be taught only to the Muslims, Muslim students. So it can be, for example, if you have the whole universe of Islamic knowledge, Islamic ethics, a small portion which is safe, proper to be taught also to the non-Muslims, given the constitutional and legal constraints prevailing in the Philippines. So what I mean is that we have to be more creative and innovative in conceptualizing the kind of program, policy responses that we have to adopt in our respective universities and colleges. And the more that we need to benefit from the cerebral talents of Muslim scholars worldwide. But imagine, for example, a forum where you have not only Dr. Macapado Muslim and Dr. Gamon present. You know, we have many brilliant guys in the Philippines who could have contributed to the discussion of this nature. So if we do this at a multi-level, then we maximize inputs from all sectors of the Muslim Ummah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, bro. I think you're coming to close. Just go through. You want to say anything?
They decided.
Yes.
One quick point. Talking about this public reaching out. I think we should be thinking, maybe Focus can use video conferencing facilities next time for those public lectures that were mentioned just now by Prof. Tariq, because we already do it now. For those of you interested in Islamic economics, Islamic banking, finance, in the first semester and second semester of our university calendar, we are involved, we meaning IUM, together with about 8 or 9 other universities in Pakistan, in the Middle East, We have lectures at Malaysian time 5:30 p.m. until about 7 p.m. It is being conducted or headquartered in IDB, but participating institutions all over the world. So if we can do some kind of arrangement like this, I think focus and this regional thing can really be a very effective thing. A monthly lecture or something like that. But you will need to figure out that who's going to be the coordinator, and maybe IDB would be willing to actually be involved with this, if we approach them. Wallahu a'lam.
Anybody else want the last words? No?
Can I have one?
Okay, thank you very much. Just a brief statement from me. It seems that we actually agree in the purpose of Islamization of knowledge, but the term you use should be very strategic. Yeah, you can use different expression of that, but let me so that maybe you can learn from philosopher, for example. Ibn Sina, in his zoology, he's talking about biology in a very universal way. That's why people take him as the real scientist. But the spirit is in Islamic. So I mean, using the strategic word expression is very important. Like yesterday, I talking about the ethic, but address the question of happiness, and it will apply to anybody. So maybe you can use the certain theme or expression that's universal, but do not betray the Islamic belief. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Okay, I think because time does not allow us to I just want to take this opportunity on behalf of the organizing, on behalf of SWASIS, and all the co-organizers. Thank you very much. I think to Oxford University, to Carl, to IT, and of course Mohd Academy, and our friends from Thailand, from Indonesia, Philippines, and all of you, the speakers, the moderators, the participants, the members of the organizing committee who have been working hard day and night to have organized this conference. So I really would like you all to express our sincere appreciation. In a sense, we are saying thank you to everyone. And we hope in the near future, inshallah, we will be in touch. We do the necessary follow-ups. And we look forward to meeting you again somewhere. And I'm not saying that until Focus 6, but I'm sure before that we have other events coming. Certainly we look forward, inshallah, with our program with Oxford University in January, and then Qatar in March. And SWASIS has in line quite a good number of international conferences. Let me take this opportunity. For example, on the 3rd and 4th of September, we are going to have the 4th International Conference on Islam and Higher Education in Medina, together with the Medina Institute for Leadership and Entrepreneurship. And then the theme of the conference is quality, the concept of quality graduates, balancing between cultural literacy and employability. And then on the 6th 7, 8 November, we are going to have our SWASIS third international conference. The theme is towards a healthy youth culture, the role of family and educational values, the role of Islamic family and educational values. So we hope you will come and join us, inshallah. Now to close this, I would like to invite my good old friend, whom I have not met for the last 35 years, Al-Ustaz, Dr. Bar Yusni. As they say, the dua of the oppressed is
مقبول.
yeah.
We're here, okay?
Yes, please, come. Make a special dua for all of us.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله حمدا يوافي نعمه يكافئ مزيده. يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك الكريم وعظيم سلطانك. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة.
I wish you all safe and pleasant trip home. And for those who are still around today, tonight.